Imagine a world of glittering courts and shadowy plots where a crown was the ultimate prize. This was the world of Jacqueline of Hainaut, born in 1401, heir to the wealthy counties of Holland, Zeeland and Hainaut. Her father, William II, ruled these jewels of the Low Countries, rich, bustling and vital. Jacqueline's childhood was one of privilege and preparation, languages, politics and the art of survival. But fate intervened. In 1417, her father died suddenly. At just 16, Jacqueline became Countess of 3 powerful counties. A teenage girl now held the fate of a region in her hands. But a woman with power was a threat. Her uncle, John of Bavaria, challenged her right to rule, claiming a woman could not inherit. Backed by the Holy Roman Emperor, he moved to seize her lands. This was no family squabble. It was a battle for legitimacy with Jacqueline's crown at stake. The Low Countries braced for conflict. Jacqueline understood she needed powerful allies. In her world, alliances were forged through marriage, not love. Her life would become a series of strategic unions, each a move in a deadly game. The fight for her crown had begun. Jacqueline would need every ounce of courage and cunning to survive. Jacqueline's first marriage was a political alliance to John, Dauphin of France, but he died before she inherited her titles. Now a teenage widow, she faced her uncle's open challenge. John of Bavaria, the pitiless, declared women unfit to rule and rallied the Cod faction against her. The region split. The Hooks, old nobility, backed Jacqueline. The Cods, rising merchants, supported her uncle. Jacqueline refused to be a pawn. She married her cousin John IV of Brabant, hoping to unite their territories and secure her rule. But John IV proved weak, mortgaging her lands to her enemies. Betrayed and trapped in a loveless marriage, Jacqueline realized she could trust no one. Her inheritance was slipping away. The Hook and Cod Wars raged, with Jacqueline as the symbol of resistance. She was determined to fight for her right to rule. Her struggle was no longer just political, it was personal. Jacqueline's resolve only hardened. She would not surrender her birthright. The battle for Holland had only just begun. With her second marriage collapsing, Jacqueline fled to England. At King Henry V's court, she met Humphrey, Duke of Gloucester. Their marriage in 1423 shocked Europe. Jacqueline was still technically married, making her a bigamist in the eyes of the church. This defiance enraged Philip the Good, Duke of Burgundy, who coveted her lands. Philip, now her most powerful enemy, moved to crush her. Jacqueline and Humphrey returned to the continent with a small English army, hoping to reclaim her birthright. But the campaign failed. Local nobles distrusted English rule and Philip's forces were overwhelming. England's support wavered, leaving Jacqueline isolated. Her gamble had failed. Philip bought her estranged husband's claim and tightened his grip on her counties. Jacqueline's personal struggle had become an international crisis. She was now caught between the ambitions of England and Burgundy. Her enemies closed in. The stakes had never been higher. Jacqueline refused to hide behind castle walls. She became the heart of the Hook faction, leading her loyalists into battle. Chronicles describe her riding at the head of her troops, clad in armor, a rare sight for a woman in the 15th century. She inspired her soldiers, not as a distant noble, but as a warrior queen. Under her command, the Hooks won key victories, including the Battle of Alphen aan den Rijn. Jacqueline was a hands-on leader, planning campaigns and sharing hardships with her troops. But Philip the Good's Burgundian army was relentless and well-funded. City after city fell to his forces. Jacqueline's resources dwindled, but her resolve did not. She turned to guerrilla tactics, leading daring raids against overwhelming odds. Her leadership shattered stereotypes of passive medieval women. Jacqueline earned the respect of her soldiers and the fear of her enemies. She proved that leadership is about courage and determination, not gender. The war became a desperate struggle for survival. Jacqueline fought on, refusing to yield. Eventually, Philip's forces overwhelmed Jacqueline. Captured and imprisoned in Ghent, her cause seemed lost. But Jacqueline was not defeated. She plotted a daring escape with the help of loyal supporters. Disguised as a man, she slipped past her guards and fled the city by night. Her escape electrified her followers and humiliated Philip the Good. Jacqueline resumed leadership of the Hooks, rallying resistance from Gouda. Her courage inspired a new wave of defiance. She was more than a figurehead. She was the driving force of her faction. The legend of her escape spread across Europe. Jacqueline had snatched hope from the jaws of defeat. Her fight for her crown was far from over. She would not be erased so easily. Despite her escape, Burgundy's power was overwhelming. Philip the Good intensified his campaign, and Jacqueline's allies deserted her. In 1428, she was forced to sign the Treaty of Delft, surrendering her lands and naming Philip as her heir. She was forbidden to marry without his consent, her titles now empty honors. At 27, her fight for her crown was over. In a final act of defiance, Jacqueline secretly married Frank van Borselle for love. Philip imprisoned Frank and forced Jacqueline to abdicate all her titles to save him. In 1433, she gave up her birthright, her counties absorbed into Burgundy. Jacqueline retired to a quiet life, dying of tuberculosis at 35. Her life was marked by tragedy and betrayal, but also by courage and resilience. She led armies, escaped captivity, and fought for her right to rule. Jacqueline of Hainaut remains a symbol of female leadership and resistance. Her story reminds us that history is shaped by remarkable women who defied expectations. She refused to be a pawn. Jacqueline's legacy endures as a testament to the power of determination.